Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Casual Sports Talk Podcast, the final stock options edition. And now we got a gentleman right over here who's disappointed that his Lions are not holding a Super Bowl trophy. Here's Douglas.
Oh, yes, Stu. There's always next year.
There's always
But,
next year. Yes.
you know, Stu, do you want to know what triggered me? I went to Buffalo Wild Wings last night, and they had that Washington versus Lions game on. And I was still absolutely enraged that we did not call a timeout with 12 men on the field and 4th and 2. Like that. If we still had a chance, we're down by 3. We get a stop there. We're down 3 with the ball. Instead, give them an automatic first down 10 points, never recover.
Yeah.
Unreal. Just burn the timeout, man. Don't know what we were thinking there. That was hard to watch a second time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Good to relive those good memories, Doug.
Yeah, I will say,
man, it was great.
That would be like the triggering moment for you. It'd be like, I'm torturing you, Douglas. I'm going to force you to watch that Commanders-Lions game for 10 straight hours, just nonstop the whole game.
My triggering moment is when Nick Chubb gets traded to the Pittsburgh or signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Myles Garrett gets traded to the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I hope that we can get Myles Garrett here in Detroit. He might be what we need.
Aiden Hutchinson said he would love that. Like, that'd be like a situation. But he was saying that with he probably knows what the payroll is for the Lions. He said we probably won't be able to get anything but anywhere close to what Myles Garrett probably wants.
Well, the Lions have $45 million of cap room. That's what's crazy. I just don't think that they want to give up draft picks. But it's like, dude,
right?
You give up draft picks for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting. And also, I should say, and now we got a gentleman right over here who still wants to ask, will the Browns ever make a postseason ever in my lifetime? Here's Chris.
Didn't they just make it last year, same as the Cowboys? I don't understand the joke.
Yeah, Sir Baker Mayfield made the playoffs. Well, yeah, we made it last year. Joe Flacco unfortunately lost in the first round. And then we made it, 4 or 5 years ago with Baker Mayfield. So they made the playoffs in my lifetime. I'm cool with that.
I think they've had more wins than the Cowboys too, right? In the last 5 years.
That's right.
Hey, I will at least say this.
In this decade for sure, or even in the last 2 decades.
I'll at least join you in the basement right now, Chris, because my team is in the basement just like you.
Oh, dude, did you just see that Zach Martin retired? Your guys is like all pro guard. More good news coming out of Dallas. Let's go.
Get that offensive line going in the shambles.
Yeah, buddy. Nobody wants to play for Schottenheimer or whatever.
David Schottenheimer. But anyway, we got to talk about the teams that made the postseason. In our final, this is actually the fun part, the final time we will talk about the NFL season for the 2024-2025 season.
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about some other sports, like maybe this hockey that's going on.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over football.
Baseball season's coming up.
Baseball season's coming up. Football season's going to come up. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Four Nations. It's going to be fun when a couple weeks from now when we get to talk about the Four Nations hockey. Right over there.
We're going to talk about a couple weeks. It's on right now.
I know it's on right now. Granted, out of this recording, it's on right now, but still, gentlemen, we got to talk about.
Gentlemen, I got some bad news. Look what I got. This what I got in Canada last week. Yeah, I might have to burn them. The Canadians were so polite, man. They gave me Canadian flags. Unreal.
You know what? You're still Canada's hat.
I'm what?
America's Canada's hat. How about that?
Yes, sure, absolutely, Stu. Whatever you say.
But my joke is also, does that mean Mexico's America's pants?
I was about to say, does that make United States Canada's pants?
Anyway.
Are we the torso? We're the torso, I guess.
Yes, I guess.
And then Mexico's the shoes or something, or the legs, and yeah.
Yes, but gentlemen, we got to talk about the 12 teams that didn't make the postseason, and we'll start out with the LA Chargers, who hardballed their way into a postseason and then humiliated themselves out of the postseason. It is very interesting that we all gave, like I said, the end of the game, we all gave them 6s. I don't think anybody that did make the postseason, I don't think they were lowered. I don't think there's any teams that I felt like that was a little bit lowered. But gentlemen, what do you think that they can do for next year right now?
They're about to lose J.K. Dobbins. He's
Oh,
a free agent.
No.
They're thinking J.K. Dobbins might come back to the NFC North and won't be with the Ravens. Probably won't be with the Browns. So it'll probably be with the Bengals. But we'll see. Or maybe or the Steelers, because Najee Harris, he's a free agent as well. But that's not what you asked.
Yeah.
You asked what do the Chiefs need or the Chargers need to do better? I mean, they finished 11-6. I think Justin Herbert, he's always not always been a great quarterback or even great, but yeah.
They need some receivers. That's what they need. I mean, when your only real guy out there is Lad McConkey, like nice season, but like that's what let them down. I mean, because their defense was top 2 or 3 in the league. There was really nice pieces, but it's like when they needed a big play, they only had one guy.
Yeah, I will say it's very much, I feel like Herbert is probably that replacement level good quarterback, if that kind of makes sense. You're probably not going to have Herbert win a Super Bowl. Okay, knock on my woods. But I don't think Justin Herbert's going to win a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
Yeah,
I didn't think Stafford was going to win a Super Bowl in my lifetime, and go look what I was wrong.
Well, Stu, did you think Jalen Hurts would win one? Fly, Eagles, fly.
I didn't know Kenny Pickett was going to win the Super Bowl in my lifetime. Could you imagine if I told you, yeah, Kenny Pickett's going to play a Super Bowl game?
That would have been a shocker, no doubt.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it was such a disappointment in the playoffs, though. I mean, 5 turnovers from Mr. Herbert. Like it was set up for them to make a nice little run at it. They kind of matched up well with the Chiefs, I thought, and laid an egg, man. Laid an absolute egg.
They laid an egg on that one. But like I said, we'll see how they go next year. I mean, granted, I do feel optimistic on Harbaugh. The 8 Chargers fans will be optimistic for next season. Oh my goodness. The silence is right over here. They're like, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about the Chargers. I mean,
they're charging.
Doug nailed it on the head. They need some wide receivers because, they have a great rookie in Lad McConkey, but can't just always win with one wide receiver.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes for next season. And now we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, who another year, they did what I said, but nothing has changed. They literally got rid of Kenny Pickett, and they got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and they lost 5 games in a row. Doom spiraled 6 games in a row if you're counting the playoffs.
Right.
Yes. So,
well, dude, did you see that Stephen A thinks they should go get Aaron Rodgers?
Oh God, no. I mean, granted, maybe. I mean, there are so I guess we should probably talk about for the postseason right now for the Steelers. That looks like Russell Wilson and Justin Fields might be free agents next year and might be leaving Pittsburgh right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're definitely free agents, whether they're going to leave Pittsburgh or not.
I mean, do you think you should keep Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, or do you get rid of them?
Not both. I think you got to pick one.
Yeah.
If anything, they should keep Justin Fields because he's young. Russell Wilson, nothing against the guy. He's had a great career, but he's getting up there in age.
Yeah, I still would argue. I think probably replacement level Hall of Famer Russell Wilson.
I mean, and based on the stats, Russell Wilson was a 25th ranked quarterback out of 32 for the season. I'd move forward with Justin Fields and try to get a veteran like Doug.
I mean, I preferred them with Justin Fields. In all honesty, I thought they should have switched back. Like I thought Fields at least gave them a dynamic element where maybe they could beat some teams. Where like I didn't feel like Russell Wilson added anything that I was like, yes, this team is more dangerous. But maybe because George Pickens was banged up a lot, maybe that's what was their downfall. Is like Mr. Pickens wasn't healthy.
I mean, I still do not like George Pickens. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's a trash talker, man.
Yeah, he seems like a douche. I'm just saying. And I would say that to his face. He does seem kind of douchey. You know what I mean?
You might say to his face, no, Rez, he's probably like 6'5" and could just knock you out.
Oh my God. I'm like one of those fans watching a UFC fight, and I'm just like, you're a bunch of weak sauce people. And then just be like, oh, I'm about to knock you out, bro.
Honestly, Antonio Brown, great career, but then at the end of his career, he fizzled off, and he did a whole bunch of drama-like things. George Pickens, not great career so far, and seems like he's creating a lot of drama. So
yeah, there is rumors that you hear the rumors, Douglas, that Mr. Daniel Jones might be going to Pittsburgh.
Oh, Daniel Jones. I was talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, there's even rumors that Daniel Jones might be going to Pittsburgh right now.
I heard Daniel Jones to the Minnesota Vikings possibly.
Ooh.
I think he already signed with them, didn't he? Is that where he's been?
Oh,
he's
so yeah, maybe stay with Minnesota. You're right. He did sign with them. Maybe stay with Minnesota.
okay.
Minnesota has J.J. McCarthy though, so
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see how Pittsburgh. I mean, and also we should ask the number 2 question right now. Do you keep Tomlin, or is it time to let Tomlin go?
Yeah, I think that's the bigger question. Of disregard the quarterback situation. Yeah, Mike Tomlin, man, he hasn't won a playoff game in how many years?
I think since 2017, 2018 is like the last time.
Yeah, so 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, like they've just been kind of like.
I mean, I would love him as a coach, getting your team to the playoffs. But if your team's consistently going to the playoffs and consistently losing, then yeah, there's something going on there, you know.
Yeah, so that's a good question right now.
Mm.
Like, would they keep? I mean,
Do you think he's lost control of the locker room? Because, like, Chris, you just mentioned Antonio Brown, then Le'Veon Bell, then George Pickens. It feels like all these guys kind of talk a lot of smack and cause a lot of off-the-field headlines. It's like, I don't know. Like, maybe they need somebody that's a little bit more, like, gets the locker room in order. I don't know.
Put the hammer down.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just too much of a player's coach like Pete Carroll was up in Seattle. And they had to let him go, and they got Mike McDonald, who was like, you know what, we're going to be running laps, and you guys aren't going to like this, but we're gonna have some good old-fashioned discipline around here.
If they stick with Tomlin this year, I think this might be his last year. I say it because Najee Harris, he's a free agent. He might go somewhere else. I'm not saying Najee Harris is the backbone of their team or their offense, but if things start crumbling in Pittsburgh, then Tomlin, I mean, if he might not make the playoffs next year, we'll see. And then if he does not make the playoffs, he is for sure out of Pittsburgh as their head coach.
Yeah, but I do feel like that. I just do feel like, granted, I still love Tomlin as a head coach, but like I said, I just feel like they're hitting into the Penguins territory right now, where it's just, yay! Aren't you excited that you're going to make the postseason?
I mean, yeah, that's what I said. There's
or I guess the Red Wings situation where it's just like you're making the postseason, but even let's be honest, Douglas, when they were hitting that 23-year streak of making the playoffs, it's like, yay, we continue the streak, but it's like, we're not happy about this because this team's not going to do well.
Well, yeah, and that's what's hard. They have to be real with themselves about the talent level of their roster. I mean, in reality, they're probably the 3rd best team in that division. It's like it might just be time for a kind of reset of the culture. But, I mean, the Red Wings did it, and now they haven't made the playoffs for 8 years, and now we're like, well, shoot, those were good days, I guess, because now we've been not make it. So, I mean, I guess it's like you take a chance on a rebuild. It might take years to happen, and then maybe you're a bottom dweller instead. So
yeah, don't turn into the Browns.
No, turn into the Browns. Nobody wants to turn into the Browns. That is just basement. What's it like to be in the basement with no lights on?
I mean, Stuart, you said it when we first started the podcast. You and I are both in the basement. So how does it feel?
I don't like it. It's not fun. Can you? I mean, you've been in the basement for decades, Chris. So how does it feel?
Stu, how can you talk from a Cowboys fan or a Lions fan? Like, none of us can talk. We're all in the basement. We've been in the basement since the 90s. Nobody's been out of the basement, dude.
Opportunity, man. It's like
we have opportunity. Yeah, but we haven't done anything. The Cowboys haven't done anything. The Browns haven't done anything. It's like we made one NFC championship game. The Cowboys, have they made an NFC championship game this millennium?
No.
Have the Browns made one this millennium?
No.
Nope.
The Lions made it. So I think we're all equally in the basement, unfortunately, gentlemen.
I would argue I think the Lions have just recently got out of the basement.
See,
say the staircase is 10 steps high. I think the Lions are like on the 8th step. If they continuously make the playoffs, I think then they could go to the 9th or the 10th step or completely get out of the basement,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well, we need that breakthrough, man. Like, the fans are starving for it.
They need that Myles Garrett.
That would be a huge piece, that's for sure.
Yeah, and as always, the Steelers, unfortunately, Steel City went down. And now we got another one. We got the Denver Broncos right over here. Broncos country, let's ride. It's always funny because that's how I remember Russell Wilson when he was a Denver Broncos. He always said Broncos country, let's ride. And I will always still say Broncos country, let's ride.
I mean, yeah, it's
Nick had them running high still.
Yes. Bo Nix should say let's ride. But you know what? I shouldn't be upset with the Broncos. Nobody expected this team to make it far. You know what? They made it super far right there. Good for you. You know what I mean? We'll see how Bo Nix does in the next couple of years.
Speaking of Bo Nix, he should be their starting quarterback from here on out. I mean, as a rookie quarterback, Broncos don't need to change anything defensively. They're the number one pass defense, number one rush defense. And Patrick Surtain had the defensive player of the year. So if anything, I think they need to get, even their running backs look pretty good. They have Audric Esteen, who was a rookie. Javonte Williams was their running back one. Wide receivers, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Devon Vele, who was a rookie. So I think the Broncos are going to be good moving forward. I want to say great, but they'll be good.
I have a hot take. I don't think that the Chiefs will win the AFC West next year.
Broncos or Chargers?
I don't know which one, because I think honestly it could be either one, but I think it's kind of two teams going up, one team coming down.
Nice, let's go. I love it.
I mean, I would laugh if that does happen, but we can't have nice things in this world, Douglas. And
I know, so just more Chiefs hate. That's all you're gonna get from me.
I wish that sports books like Vegas, DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever. I wish they offered odds for the Chiefs not to win their division. I wonder what the odds
that
are.
That would be an interesting odds. But like I said, I still think we can't have nice things. They have Patrick Mahomes. But anyway, we're talking about the Broncos. Let's go Broncos country. Bo Nix looks amazing. Granted, they got their butts whooped by the Bills, but you know what? You made it this far. Nobody expected the Broncos to make it this far. Everyone thought they were going to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I mean, they ended up on the wrong side of that bracket because NFL does not reseed, right? Or they do? No, they reseed. That's right. It's college football that does not reseed. Yeah. But yeah, the Broncos, we knew that the Bills, Josh Allen, MVP, was going to do some bad things for the Broncos, good things for the Bills in that playoff game.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Broncos country will ride to the end.
Something I like about this is it's kind of fun to see how each team's outlook is, because some teams have playoff losses devastating. For the Broncos, it's wow, you made it here. Nice.
It was like that meme with oh my goodness, it's like a funny meme last year where it was and I showed it to you guys, where it's Philadelphia Eagles 10-6, dread Lions fan 10-6, woo! This is the greatest feeling ever.
If I'm a Denver fan, I'm really excited right now. I'm very excited about this team and the future outlook of this team.
Yeah, and like I said, this is the longest playoff drought that made it to the postseason of all the teams. I believe it was the Peyton Manning era. The final year when they won the Super Bowl was the last time I believe they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they became irrelevant ever since. And then now they're coming back. Good for you.
Bo Nix, quarterback, Oregon, right?
The power of Jesus.
And Auburn and 18 other schools. The dude was in college for 9 years.
Like I said, the power of Jesus will let Bo Nix.
I'm pretty sure he's a few years older than CJ Stroud. He's probably significantly older than Stroud. And Stroud's, already won 2 playoff games, had 2 great seasons.
Yeah. This will be a good question to say, who have a better career? Not Jalen Hurts, sorry, Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix?
Oh, Jaden Daniels for sure, man. That dude's going to be an MVP candidate year in and year out, I fear.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely been he's definitely proved that out right now. And now we got one down for Broncos country. Now we got to talk about the most middest team ever that made the postseason, the Green Bay Packers, which Douglas is so excited for the Packers.
Well, the weird thing about the Packers is all year long, everybody kept hyping them up, saying that they were better than their record type of thing. We got a fight in this hockey game. That was fun. But I really, I don't know, they just never seem to make big plays in big moments. Jordan Love kind of seems he kind of feels like a Justin Herbert to me, where it's cool, you beat up on the teams that aren't good. You lose to the teams that are better than you. Congratulations. It's I don't know. I'm not very excited. I feel like they're just going to kind of be almost like a Steelers. Like I don't know if they can get over the hump with him or not. Like everyone got excited last year. They had that big win, and now I don't know. It's like, will they ever rise to that occasion with the system? They have a lot of good players, a lot of good pieces.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy to think about it because that was probably, of all the Eagles games, that was probably the weakest Eagles game. It was the Packers and the Rams, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I probably would say, well, I guess there's the snow conditions, but I honestly would say Packers would probably be the number 2 on like the weakest of these games for the Eagles and these. But like I said, they did win this one by 12. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about. Are they going to be like this? Are they going to be in the Pittsburgh stuff right here where it's just like they're just like never going to improve? They're just going to be mid.
I mean, there's a
playoff game last year.
I love Jordan Love, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're the type of organization that will eventually figure it out, unfortunately. But, like, I don't know. I mean, the Bears kind of look like they're up and coming. The Vikings are solid. The Lions are solid. So it's like, it's hard to see the Packers, like, making a true Super Bowl run anytime soon.
Yeah.
I would think that the Packers just need a backup running back. Josh Jacobs, he's an amazing person. He can do everything. He could pass down. He could, have great runs. But I think if he ever goes down or they need a good running back. Because they had the second best pass defense in the league, 11th best pass rush defense in the league.
I think they need some more experienced receivers too, because like they're still so young that they very well could blossom. But like, man, oh man, they got a lot of second-year dudes out there. A lot of people are 21, 22, and it's like they might need a veteran in the room to kind of show them how to do it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be the interesting part about this. I mean, I don't know. I definitely we'll see how the Packers do right over here, but it's like it's definitely Jordan Love is not hitting like the prime Aaron Rodgers, the prime Brett Favre era right now.
Yeah,
granted, it took 4 years until Brett Favre won a Super Bowl, and I think I'm trying to think how long until Aaron Rodgers when he started till he won a Super Bowl, like 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's a hard legacy to live up to, man. Because I mean, you're talking about two probable was Favre a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I believe he was.
So it's like you're talking about 2 first ballot Hall of Famers. So it's kind of an unfair legacy, unfortunately, for him. But like also, I don't know. It's tough.
And also, Brett Favre is the first ballot Hall of Fame in stealing money for the volleyball court. Dun-dun. I would say that to his face. Yeah, I'm sorry. That one I would say to his face. You would say that to his face. Oh, yeah, you're Brett Favre. You stole money to the state of Mississippi for your daughter.
I would have to read on the details of that allegation or that story to really say something to his face.
Well, I guess he allegedly.
Well, I'll have to read into it. You don't have to tell me now, Stu. Because we're on just a tale of a time crunch here.
All right, fine. For the Packers, unfortunately, no pack, no. And unfortunately, I hope. Why can I not have nice things and the Packers not make the postseason? And we got the Baker Mayfield Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is a close game right over here. But then the Commanders came out and won it in a field goal. My goodness, they did go a little bit less than last year. But gentlemen, how do you feel about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield? And also, Chris, I'm going to say it.
Do I miss Baker Mayfield? Absolutely, Stu. But you know what the Buccaneers are missing? A little bit of a better defense. They have they had the second best rushing offense, 5th best passing offense, but it was their defense that was very mid. Their defense was right in the middle pack, ranked around 16 or 17 in the league. So they need to figure out some defense because they gave up. I mean, they gave up 23 points in a playoff game, which is terrible. But yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like.
I heard a noise. It's just a commercial. I thought.
Let's go USA.
Am I behind?
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh yeah, USA scored. Oh, let's go.
Let's go. But anyway, gentlemen, Douglas, what is your thoughts about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And
they got Jaden Daniels. That's what I have to say, Stu. Like I think they're a team that scares me. I mean, they beat a lot of good teams this year.
Oh, Buccaneers.
They had. Yeah.
We're talking about the Buccaneers. Jaden Daniels.
Didn't Jaden Daniels beat them in the playoffs?
Oh yeah, they did.
I said they got Jaden Daniels.
Oh, I was like for a second, I was like, maybe it's just my allergies just hitting in, but it was just like, wait a minute. I thought you were talking about the Commanders. I was like, what?
No, man, Jaden Daniels have made clutch plays. I mean, just kind of that's what I'm saying. He's going to be a problem for the entire NFC here for a while. Like, if the Commanders build around him, they're going to be great. Buccaneers, man, I think, like Chris said, defense, and they need to stay healthy, hopefully.
Yeah.
They still got Mike Evans. They still got, like, really nice players. Baker's, I think he threw, like, 40-plus TDs this year. Like, Baker had a nice season, man. I thought they'd make a little bit of a run in the playoffs, honestly.
Yeah.
And I've said several times throughout our podcast, Baker Mayfield leads the league since the beginning of the 2023 season, or 2023 season in passing touchdowns. He has like 50 plus or something like that, which leads all active quarterbacks in the last 2 seasons.
He's been balling out, man. He's been balling. They're a fun team. I mean, they're a really dangerous team. Like I'm pretty sure they beat the Eagles and they beat the Lions this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They went to overtime with the Chiefs. Like they had some big time games. It was just kind of they ran into the buzzsaw that is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, they did unfortunately hit the Jaden Daniels buzzsaw right now. And like I said, we'll see how it goes. But I will still say I think the Buccaneers will still make it to the postseason. Let's be honest, the NFC South is still trash in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Atlanta start making a run at it though. Like obviously they were really close. If they just commit to Michael Penix and they got some pieces, like it'll be an interesting. And then we've talked a lot about Bryce Young maybe taking that jump finally. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as it has been for them. So it might finally be a fun division to watch.
Yeah, instead of a trash.
Yeah, the Falcons just need to get Kyle Pitts. Well, Kyle Pitts in motion and Bijan Robinson. He's always been in motion, but if they can get all those moving parts going, the engine will start turning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it gets turning indeed. And now we got the Minnesota Vikings, who I realize we gave them 7s, and we are incorrect because they choked and gave them a 6. So,
Wait.
Gentlemen, yeah, they didn't win a playoff game.
Oh, then why did we have 7 on the board there?
Because I hit there's a thing called the struggle bus, and
Gotcha.
I unfortunately, gentlemen, just like the Minnesota Vikings, I hit the struggle bus too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it kind of felt like the Lions broke the Vikings. Like they were had such a nice season, and then they got ran over by the Lions, and then Sam Darnold real hard for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's so I would be so. I mean, like I said, everybody was thinking, man, Sam Darnold's the man. This is our person. We got this. To now, is Sam Darnold going to play next year with the Vikings?
That's right. Probably not.
Yeah, and I feel like, honestly, I think he's the guy that lost himself a lot of money with those last 2 weeks. It's like big-time games, and he unfortunately crumbled.
Yeah. I mean,
here's the thing. If they – I mean, obviously, Doug, you know more about J.J. McCarthy than I do. I feel like if Sam Darnold leaves Minnesota, I don't think Minnesota is going to have a 14-3 record next year. I don't even think they'll have a 12-5 record next year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll be curious how JJ does, but I don't know, man. I do have some nerves about JJ at the professional level. I don't know if he's quite. I mean, we'll see how accurate he is, but I have some accuracy concerns, but I mean, it helps when you have Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson and Addison. So maybe it won't matter when you can just throw anywhere and JJ is getting it.
Who's even the running back? I guess I could look that up real quick if I need
to. Didn't they get that dude from Green Bay?
Aaron Jones? That's right.
Yeah, I think that Aaron Jones, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, this team makes me nervous, though, because I feel like, personally, I think it was more of a fluke than, a consistent thing. They didn't look like – the Eagles and Lions, to me, this year looked dominant. The Vikings just kind of – they just weren't quite as good for me as, the other teams.
Yeah.
They had so many clunker wins and games that honestly they should have lost.
USA almost had a shorthanded goal there. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, that was real close.
I mean, if I'm looking at the regular season right there, I mean, I'm looking at it like they did beat the Eagles bad. Oh, no, wait, that's preseason. that was September. They did beat, like, they had a lot of, like, good decisive wins, but then they barely beat the Packers, barely lost to the Lions, lost to the Rams by 10, beat the Colts by decent, did barely beat the Jaguars, beat the Titans by 10, Bears close in overtime, Cardinals by 1. They did.
Yeah, they're one of those teams where I kind of expect them to regress back more towards the mean. Like, I mean, I could see them being more realistically like a 10-7 caliber team.
Yeah, I can kind of see them just kind of being a wild card team, like a lower wild card team, and then just get like bounced out.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see them miss the playoffs next year. You know, like
Ooh.
You have the Packers, you have the Bears maybe taking a step forward with Ben Johnson out there creating plays for Caleb Williams. It's like there's a lot of good teams in the NFC right now, and it's like the Vikings are still going to be good, but I don't know, man. The last 2 weeks they laid 2 eggs in their 2 biggest games. It'll be interesting how they respond.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And, I always joke Vikings equals pain, and the legacy of failure for the Minnesota Vikings has continued to be laughed. Also, I just want to let you know, let's have the prophecy become true. Let Mr. Rogers be a Minnesota Viking.
So Brett Favre, like he went to the Packers to Minnesota, then Aaron
No,
Rodgers.
No. You forgot about Brett Favre went 1 year with the Jets and then went to Minnesota.
I see. That'd
be crazy. Let the tradition continues. Please, football gods. I will lull so hard if Aaron Rodgers becomes the Minnesota Vikings.
Maybe they should trade Sam Darnold to the Jets. The Jets need a quarterback. Maybe they should try Sam Darnold again.
Yeah. What could go wrong? Yeah.
It worked out great the first time.
Return to the Meadowlands, Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Then Daniel Jones with them.
Yes. Send him to the Shadow Realm. Unfortunately, Minnesota. And now we got the Houston Texans, who just went back to the same spot as I did last time. Got close, but unfortunately lost to the Chiefs by 9.
Yeah. Well, good news for Joe Mixon, Stu. They rescinded his fine for criticizing the refs.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Joe Mixon gets his money back.
Joe Mixon needs to start putting up numbers because based on what I'm seeing, Houston's rush offense was 28th in the league, and that's their major concern moving forward. They have a good defense, but their rush, and their passing offense too. But their defense, their offense.
It is kind of interesting because I feel like this team was a lot worse than last year's Texans, but they still won a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sucks is that they're another one of those teams that had the injury bug real bad because, I mean, they had Stephon Diggs out for the year. Nico Collins missed a lot of the year. Tank Dell go down. I think Mixon was out for a little bit. And, they just really could never get healthy.
And I think they were all injured at separate times. So, yeah, like you said, Doug, they never got healthy at the same times. Like, they never had a flush offense operating simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Stay healthy and get a better rush offense, so I guess you need a better offensive line, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's pretty much, like I said, that's pretty much. And I don't know. I still like the quarterback for the Texans, CJ Stroud. Great representative for the Buckeye Nation. He's done really well. I think they should keep him. He's probably going to get paid soon.
I mean, he deserves it, man. I mean, 2 playoff wins, that's more than Justin Herbert can say.
Yeah, that's true. Or Dak in the last couple of years.
Yeah, this was Stroud's second year. Next year he'll be a third year, and he's made the playoffs both years. That's an impressive start to your career.
Yeah, 2 division titles, 2 playoff wins.
Yeah,
that's a nice. I mean, I feel like there's reason to be optimistic in Houston. It'll be interesting in that division too if the other teams start to rebuild and maybe be more competitive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes right over here. This is going to be an interesting one right over here. I mean, with the Texans, we'll see if they do better, or we'll see if they can still be consistent right over there.
Yeah, I feel like if you looked at from the beginning of the season, it'd feel like a disappointment. If you looked at them at the middle of the season, winning a playoff game would feel like a big win.
Yeah. That's what I kind of feel.
Because I think me and Chris kind of picked them to make it to the AFC Championship, perhaps, with how many offseason moves they made and how nice their roster was. Like, we thought this would be a team to make a real nice run at it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Kansas City just said, nope. Nope. Stopped everybody. Stopped everybody. But unfortunately for the Texans, the Cowboys are still better. I don't like, and I wish they would call the Oilers. I'm just sorry.
Well, Stu, I went to this game, Stu. Houston dominated the Cowboys in Dallas. I was there. I watched the game live, Stu. I saw it with my own eyes.
Really?
Yeah, I was there, man. It was a beatdown. It wasn't actually a beatdown, but it was a nice win.
Yeah, so you're the one who chirped in, real quietly said Dallas is still a better team in Texas when that's not accurate.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the game was in Dallas, Stu, and CJ went in there and he's like, "No, thank you. I'm the best team in Texas."
How dare all of you? How dare all?
We're not daring. Like, how dare we know? Like, we're stating facts here, Stu. Like, we respect your opinion, but when the opinion's not a fact and you're thinking that you're stating facts, it's not how the world works. Because Houston is clearly the better team in the state of Texas for.
Won a playoff game, made the playoffs, won the head-to-head battle. It's like, what's the argument for the Cowboys here, Stu? Oh, the USH got lucky, man. Canada should have scored there.
Yeah, that was a wide open on the right-hand side there.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd say we digress away from the state of Texas and jump to the next team, though.
Yes, and as always, I will always say it. They're still the Houston Oilers in my heart. And now we gotta go with your heart. This one's gonna hurt.
Dude, give them a 6. They did not win a playoff game.
But
the Texans, yeah, they did.
No, they did not. But Texas they did get the
Chargers.
No, I'm talking about the Lions. Give the Lions a 6. They didn't win a playoff game.
But they still made it past the first round. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they did get the bye, so I feel like they should get the 7 just because they got the bye.
I mean, do whatever your heart desires, Stu, but they had one playoff game, they lost it.
Yeah, they blew that game. That was a bad game. It's like, man, it's like the injury bug, unfortunately, just like my allergies. It's just got infested right now, and it just like infested all the Lions.
It was such a bad game that Doug wanted to rewatch that Buffalo Wild Wings the other night.
And do you know what makes me sad? Like, I would have loved a world in which we got a fully healthy Lions-Eagles because I think that would be a game. Like, unfortunately, this Lions team with literally nobody left on defense, man. It was just like Jaden Daniels was too good to like – because, I mean, like you said, the Buccaneers held the Commanders to 23 points. The Commanders dropped 45 in Lions, turned the ball over 5 times against the Commanders. Every play that could go wrong went wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, the Commanders out-Lions the Lions. Like, they went for it on 4th down so many times, and they got it every single time.
Oh, especially that one penalty when they had 12 men on the field. That was that.
Yeah.
That
we decided we didn't call a timeout, and then it was 1st and goal, and they scored a touchdown on the next play. And, like, we still had chance in that game. Like, we were only down 3 going into the 4th quarter. And then, so it's like this is such a could-have-been season that's such a shame. And I think everybody in Detroit after the Vikings game assumed, like, oh, we'll be good enough on defense. But we weren't good enough to overcome 5 turnovers again, unfortunately.
Yeah. It is kind of funny because I did there's people at work that are Lions fans, and I did troll one of the guys after they lost. They said Lions gonna Lion, same old Lions. That was bad. I know I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that after they lost, but hey.
Stu, if the shoe fits.
The shoe fits. I mean, but let's be honest, that was a bad. I mean, we'll see.
I mean, we all kind of thought it was coming because like there was lots of signs of this defense being absolutely atrocious. And, like it worked against Sam Darnold. We could speed him up, get him off his rhythm. But Jaden Daniels, man, that dude just has ice in his veins. And, like, it didn't matter what we did. He would just stay composed, make the right play. And, like, if you're going to play somebody that's on their game like that, you can't turn the ball over 5 times.
You can't.
And, I mean, it sucks because you're kind of like, was this our year? But, like, I think we have another 2-3 good years left of this team. Lots of cap room.
Yeah, you got a lot of cap room. Was it like 45 or $50 million in cap left?
Oh, Canada scored
Oh,
and ties it up 2-2.
no. Was that Connor McDavid?
No, I don't think it was. I'm trying to figure out who it
Unbelievable.
was.
Get Matthew
You know,
Tkachuk in there.
Oh no, who was that guy?
Sorry.
yeah, who is this guy?
Oh wait, Matthew Tkachuk.
Bennett?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bennett. Oh, Sam Bennett. Okay.
Yeah, and
All
also I will say this, Douglas. Do you think Sidney Crosby? Do you think the Red Wings will ever be as cool as Sidney Crosby?
Well, Stu, the Detroit Red Wings have 11 Stanley Cups. I think Crosby has
they're
2.
cooler than Sidney Crosby's do.
Crosby got 3, man. He got 2 in a row.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess he did win one. He won one later.
In true fashion of Mr. Stuart Jasper, if we want to talk about history, yeah, Doug can bring up the Detroit Red Wings when they completely dominated for 25 plus years. I don't know about completely dominated, but they dominated for several years in there. So yeah, Sidney Crosby, one of the greatest players of all time, but as an organization, Detroit Red Wings over Sidney Crosby. But how do we get on that topic when we're talking about the NFL here?
Yeah.
When we're talking about the city of Detroit, though, I am very excited for the whole city of Detroit sports. Like the Red Wings are kind of back. They're looking good. They play Columbus in the Horseshoe next, in a week and a half. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yes. Following Sunday from this
we got
one.
a Winter Classic?
Yeah.
We got a Winter Classic at the Horseshoe, Stu.
I love
Detroit, Columbus.
That's so cool. I love it. I love it. Like, honestly, I wish they would have at the big house. Let's have the Red Wings at the big house again.
Well, they'll do that, but yeah, they're playing at the Horseshoe this time, Stu. It's even better for you.
I know.
Red Wings, Columbus at the Horseshoe. I think that's about as fun as it gets.
I mean, but it'd be so much fun. Like, didn't they have it with Toronto versus the Red Wings? But anyway, I digress. We got to talk about
That was a good one. That was fun.
Yes. But I do feel like the Lions still have like a good window. I don't think they're going to hit the collapse. I don't think they're going to hit like Jacksonville level bad. You know what I mean? Where it's just like regression to obscurity.
The only worry that I have is that I feel like Dan Campbell is slightly ahead of his time in the 4th downs, but I think the rest of the league now realizes like they've looked close at the analytics, and like that's part of how the Commanders beat us is they were just as aggressive as we always are in 4th downs, and they worked. And like that's my biggest fear is that we will take a step back because other teams, but like, man, we have Jahmyr Gibbs. Like Jahmyr Gibbs is special. Like rewatching him, like that dude. I mean, Saquon's the best running back in the league, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs is second, maybe third, depending on how you feel about Derrick Henry. But man, oh man, dude, like you cannot touch Gibbs in space. Like he is electric. Like the offense will be amazing no matter who's calling plays. But hopefully the defense can get healthy, maybe add some depth on the defensive front because that's how Philly just won the Super Bowl. It's their defensive line. Like Mahomes could not do anything because he was just getting sacked the entire game, and we had no pass rush to end the season.
No, unfortunately, and I think it's such a disappointing season for. There's like a little bit of a disappointment because I'm like, man, this should have been the Super Bowl team. They should have made it, and I just feel like it's like, there is a part of me that I'm still optimistic, but there's still also a part of me I'm like, was last year their year? Was that their best shot? And then
no way.
It could have been. This one hurt a lot more than last year. Like last year, I was like, wow, we kind of overachieved. Like speaking of like the perspectives, this year it felt more like this one felt a lot more like this one hurt a little bit more close to the chest, if you will. But I think we still have a good window. Like Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback in most like metrics, but when it mattered most, just like Sam Darnold, he threw like 3 or 4 interceptions. So like. You got to make the plays in those big games,
including a.
But we didn't play. Yeah, we also got to play complementary football. You know, the defense didn't stop anything. So.
Yeah, the defense cost you, and unfortunately, for the Lions are still. I'm still going to ask you like the same thing Simba said to Mufasa. Dad, what's a Super Bowl? I don't know, son. We're Lions.
You know, Stu, I would say we could ask Josh Allen, but he doesn't know either.
That is true. And then we got the Rammies, who they rammed it in a close game. But fortunately, probably the only one that was run for their money for the Eagles was this Rams game, interestingly enough. But Rams won the game. I'll give them credit. I mean, the Rams lost. You know what I mean? I think this has been an interesting year. Now, I guess we should start the rumors. I guess I heard some rumors that Stafford might be going to the New York Giants. I have
Why
heard that.
in the world would the Rams get rid of Stafford?
I have no idea why. I heard that's rumors. Like, that don't make any sense at all. And let's be honest, Stafford's not going to help this Giants team. If the rumors are true, why would you take Stafford?
What do you think about the Giants is bad? Sure, they don't. I mean, Tyrone Tracy, he's an up-and-coming running back. You have Malik Neighbors, who is, I don't know about top 5. I don't even know about top 10, but definitely top 15 wide receivers. So the Giants have the pieces, but they're just.
I don't know if they have the coaching though. I feel like their coach, like the fact that they brought back their coach after how horrendous they've been is like, I feel like an organizational failure. I'm like, I don't know, man.
They did win a Super Bowl.
See, hopefully Stafford's in his seat. Like, dude, I better not go to the Giants since they're bringing back that quarterback.
I mean, yeah, if he goes to the Giants, he should just retire. He should pull a Gronk. Like, I don't know if you guys heard the story where Gronk got traded to the Lions, and he just said, "No, I'm going to retire. Like, I'm playing with Tom Brady, or I'm retiring."
Oh, no
and
kidding.
And that's what Stafford should do too. He should say, "No, nope.
And
I don't want to end my career there."
Yes, that's it. Oh God, I mean, I will say, like, that's not going to help the Giants do better. They got
maybe the Lions are one Stafford away from a Super Bowl.
I know. Maybe they should trade Stafford. They should go back and trade again. Trade Stafford and Goff.
Yeah, we should give up Goff and 2 first-round draft picks, probably.
Oh, yes, let's get back Stafford, baby. Come on, sell those tickets. It's like that one year when Cam Newton came back to the Panthers. It's like, we're doing this just to sell tickets. Let's go. We're going to retro, baby. Even though it doesn't mean any sense and we're still going to lose, but let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, but there's no reason the Rams should get rid of Stafford. I mean, they have Kyron Williams as a running back. They have Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, they're about to trade Cooper Kupp, though. They told Kupp that he's gone.
Oh, really? Gotcha. But they still have Puka Nacua.
I'll say, I think they realize that Puka's the better wide receiver. I mean, because I feel like their window's still open. I mean, like you said, Stu, they were, a drive away from beating the Eagles. And I mean, if they beat the Eagles, who knows? I mean, they might have beaten Washington. They might have made the Super Bowl. Like, they could have beaten Washington. It's like, this team was maybe one drive away from a Super Bowl.
And they could have maybe beaten the Chiefs. We'll see. That would have been interesting. And then maybe we'd talk about his legacy with Stafford. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They were pretty close to a breakthrough this year. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I feel like, I think I'm more impressed with Stafford. And I think after the more and more I've done the Stafford years in the Rams, I honestly feel like Stafford should get I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, yeah, he definitely should be. I mean, he had like a 50 touchdown season. He's won a Super Bowl. Like,
yes,
he has as good of a case as Eli Manning, I think.
But it should be for a Ram. It should not be for a Lion. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I think it should be for both. I mean, you're looking at his entire career, not just because I mean, he had the better like statistical seasons as part of the Lions, but he had the Super Bowl and the playoff runs as the Rams.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, I think
he had a 5,000-yard season and a 50 touchdown yard season as part of the Lions, which are both like historically great seasons.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, granted, they give it to Stafford. Yeah, this you know what? Phone it in. I'm giving them a 2.
It would make no sense to get Stafford. So if they do that,
well, I mean, for the Giants, it wouldn't make sense. Like, why would you? I mean, I love Stafford, but I mean, the dude's like 37 years old at the absolute end of his career.
He got like maybe 2-3 more years left in his prime, and then like.
Well, it's like, and what are you getting if you're the Giants? It's like you're getting like he doesn't fit your window. Like your window, if you're the Giants, is more 2-3 years down the road, not right now.
No, like honestly, it should be rebuilding season if you're the Giants. Like literally tank, rebuild.
Yeah.
And also fire their coach. I still don't understand why the Giants have not fired the coach. I still don't understand that. They didn't even fire the GM. Yeah. They didn't fire the coach. How do you say the season success?
Yeah, by no metric should they have brought. Yeah, like I don't know.
You lost to the Cowboys twice, and it's not even a good Cowboys team. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were, by every metric, they were atrocious.
Yes. I mean, it says something that they're the first team eliminated in the playoffs before the regular season, during the regular season. So, but anyway, fortunately for the Rammies, we got to ram it out of our stock options. And now we got another disappointment another Lamar, another losing. What is more triggering is if a Ravens fan, last season or this season?
I mean, I personally think last season for them. Because, I mean, last year you were the 1 seed at home. Last season kind of felt like their season. This year, like you guys have kind of been down on them all year. It felt more like Allen's season. So, like, from an outsider perspective, I thought last year was kind of their year that they should have done it.
Yeah, and there was a couple clunker losses. They lost to the Raiders at one point. They lost to the Brownies at one point. I know that was a fluke loss, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will still say it. You should not lose to the Brownies. You know what I mean? This is like a tougher opponent. You know
I mean, the Cowboys beat the Browns. Unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, come on. Come on. How does it feel, Fyodor?
Well, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the Ravens because we said the Browns beat the Ravens and even the Cowboys beat the Browns. That was the correlation. We weren't talking about
maybe
we were talking about how the Ravens are a terrible team because you even have the Cowboys beating the Browns, but the Browns beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
Just stop paying attention to the championship game of the 4-Nation tournament. It doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to the conversation. I'm still following along here.
Yeah, thankfully we're almost at an intermission, then we'll get some more focus here.
Yeah, we'll get some more focus.
But yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry had a great season. Like, there's a lot of nice pieces, but like,
also, I'm gonna say this, Douglas. You went for two twice. Why don't you give the ball to Derrick Henry?
Yeah, that's a great question, Stu. Sometimes coaches outsmart themselves.
Yes, like this guy had.
Maybe the defense was expecting it to go to Henry, and that's why the coach didn't want to give it to him.
But that didn't work out.
Poor Mark Andrews, man.
It didn't work out.
Like I just recalled how all this ended, man. Mark Andrews, like he is kind of like he is going to be kicking himself probably for the rest of his life, man. In all honesty, like he had a chance to even make up for his like fumble earlier in the game, and then he dropped the 2-point conversion. Like that dude's sold. Like if Mark Andrews makes one of those 2 plays, we might be talking about a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that Mark Andrews just dropped 1 play, and it stinks because he probably had a great season, but you know he's going to remember for the season 1 play.
Well, I mean, and sometimes guys' whole careers get defined by 1 play too, and like it might not matter what he does if they never win a Super Bowl, he might always be defined by that 1 game and those 2 plays.
It's like the same thing with that Cowboys player in the 70s. He came out of retirement, played for the Cowboys. And this is like they're making the Super Bowl. This was the 1979 Super Bowl year. It was the Steelers versus the Cowboys, and they just had to make 1 pass. It was like a 10-yard pass. The guy dropped it. Had a career like Pro Bowl career. Made 1 messed up play, and that defines his career. Just that play cost him the Super Bowl.
Stu, Noah Ruggles had a great season. All I ever think about is 1 shank kick, and I chuckle every time.
No Ruggles. You're Ohio State, right?
I was at a bar in New Year's and I cried.
Is Derrick Henry on a multi-year contract, or is this his last? He signed a 1-year deal with the Ravens? You guys know?
I think he signed a 2-year deal technically.
Okay, so the Ravens pretty much have everyone set for next year. No one's leaving for the most part.
Oh, unless we're going to talk about the controversy with the kicker now, Justin Tucker.
Okay, well, I mean, kickers are the highest scoring player on the team, but
I guess we should probably discuss it. I know this is PG.
We can discuss that at a later date, please.
But I guess there's some multiple.
We still have a few more teams to talk about here.
Oh, come on! I guess we got to talk about. I mean, that kicker's probably his career's done, right? Do you agree?
I mean, yeah. I mean, hopefully they do the right thing and just kind of over. I mean, he had a bad year anyways. Like he was missing kicks anyways. Like, don't let this guy come back. Get yourself a kicker. Yeah. And don't make this a story. Just release him, move on.
I mean, who's worse, this or the one time when one of the Baltimore Ravens mispracticed one time, and he was like, "I'm sorry, coach, I had to go and get my car washed."
I think we all know which one's worse, Stu.
Probably the one that starts with the kicker, and it's Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
Yep. And unfortunately, it is not good right over there. Oh, and now we got, oh my goodness, we got the Commanders. We'll talk about, I guess, Fyodor, since we never really talked about the Commanders yet. Let's talk about you and your thoughts about the Commanders.
Why do you think I love the Commanders so much? I mean, I do love rookie quarterbacks, Bo Nix, Jane Daniels.
You cannot lie. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned earlier that if Myles Garrett goes anywhere, it's either going to be, well, I didn't say the Cowboys, but I assume it'd be the Cowboys. But number one on the list would probably be the Commanders because they have money from Jane Daniels. He's on a rookie contract, so they still have money on their payroll, so they can easily pay Myles Garrett just what they're willing to give up for him. Because the Commanders, their defense struggled. Both their pass and their rush defense was like 25th in the league, and that's not too good. But you have one of the best offenses in the league, so that's amazing. So, they just need to work on their defense.
Yeah.
Well, I saw that they might get T. Higgins, too. Like, a lot of people think that this is where T. Higgins should end up. Like, if they got T. Higgins and Myles Garrett, man, the NFC needs to watch out.
Yeah.
I mean,
the NFC East, too.
This is going to be interesting, and I will talk about the interesting controversy that we should talk about the Commanders, where former owner Dan Snyder apparently is not happy after 2 years of not owning the team that they actually have been successful than Dan Snyder's entire owning chip of the Commanders.
Well, yeah. I mean, he didn't want to sell them. He was forced to sell them. He literally locked himself in and tried to not give up the keys to the building. Like, dude's a bum. Dude's a bum that we don't need to talk about.
I will still go on my dying grave. I will be 80 years old, and I probably will still say Dan Snyder is probably the worst owner of my lifetime, as any NFL owner right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know many owners, but
I don't pay attention to the ownerships of every NFL team.
Like, my joke would be like if Jerry owned the Cowboys, but you like all the Super Bowl wins. That would be Dan Snyder, basically.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes. And probably was a little bit worse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel optimistic on the Commanders. I do feel like it will be interesting. It's going to be like, could the Commanders win the NFC East?
I mean, it's hard to imagine them beating the Eagles after the beatdown the Eagles gave them in the championship game. But I mean, they're definitely the second best team in the NFC East.
If they add an explosive defensive player, whether it's cornerback, whether it's defensive end, they could win the NFC East. But if they don't add either of those additions to those positions, I'm gonna still say it's gonna be the Philadelphia Eagles for next year.
Yeah, definitely. It could be. I
mean, it's gonna suck for the Cowboys, man, because like the Commanders here are gonna be a problem for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Jaden Daniels rookie contract, like they won 12 games his rookie year, and like they're only gonna get better. They have cap room. They have a lot of ways to make moves, improve the defense, get more weapons on offense. Like, I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. Like, they could be a Super Bowl caliber team in the next year or two.
Yeah, it could be, definitely. It could be interesting. That could be the Super Bowl winning. They could be Super Bowl caliber. It's going to be interesting. And I'm definitely optimistic on Commanders. I like the ownership. Dan Quinn's been a great coach. Jaden Daniels been pretty good. You can't get mad at the Commanders. We gave them all 2s, and we all gave them 3s. And look at that. They made it all the way up to an 8. Good for you. You made it to the AFC Championship. I can't get mad at that.
Heck of a season.
Heck of a season right there. And now we got, instead of one heck of a season, another Josh Allen not making the postseason again. Buffalo Bills. Fortunately, there's a kryptonite, and the kryptonite is the Kansas City Chiefs, apparently.
They're going to say the refs. So.
But anyway, I would still argue they had 14 minutes left.
I mean, yeah, so they absolutely could have made plays. They didn't. They got a little bit screwed there, and they didn't make good plays. They didn't make good coaching adjustments. The refs did not do them any favors, but they didn't do themselves any favors either.
Yeah. I don't know. That's always my opinion on like the refs. I feel like it's different if it was like the last call before it was like 5 seconds left and it's the last call and then like a controversial call happens versus if it's like first period, first, second, beginning when there's like tons of clock, you can still make that move. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, they had the plays and like they just didn't execute, and it sucked to watch. Like, it's unfortunate that it has to continue to lead to this narrative with how it all played out, because it'd be nice just to see, like these two play like these kind of teams decided more on the field than what the fans wanted to happen. And it hurts, man. Like, it's kind of like, if it didn't happen this year, like, will it happen type of thing? Like, this team feels more like, I don't know if it's going to happen than the Lions. Because, I mean, you got Lamar Jackson there that they're going to be better. You have, the Bo Nixes, the Justin Herberts, the CJ Strouds, all these great young teams kind of coming. It's like, Allen's time is, I mean, he's still only like 28 or so, but like,
I mean,
that window's closing.
He's still probably got a good 5-7 years left of his career, probably.
Yeah, but that window's closing, man. There's a lot of good teams coming, nipping at their heels.
That is true. Like, I always say it, like, there's some people like, I'm trying to think, like the Cincinnati Bengals, like Joe Burrow. He made the Super Bowl. That might be his only shot at making the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with how many good quarterbacks are in this league right now, like, you really can't expect to be here every year, and you eventually think you have to win one. But
yeah, and it does sting. It does sting because it's like, man, we can't. It's like the kryptonite. It's like the Chiefs when it was against the Patriots before they beat the Patriots. It's like, man, you can't beat these people. It's just triggering. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like a lot of teams too, they have to get through a certain team like to make their playoff run. But like at some point too, you just got, when it's been like 5 years in a row or 4 years in a row, it's kind of like with the Bulls and the Pistons, it's like you kind of knew that maybe they'd lose a year and then they'd get over the hump. But like if you haven't got over the hump by now, you're going to kind of start to decline too.
Yeah. And it's just like, man, it's just, I would be so frustrated if I was a Buffalo Bills fan. It's just like, man, Bills Mafia is not happy. And it's so funny because it's like, this is the reason why I never gave them a 9. Because I'm like, I don't know if they can beat the Chiefs. Even when they beat the Chiefs, I'm like, I've always have this feeling they can't beat the Chiefs.
I mean,
I'm not going to lie.
Next year, like Doug said earlier, if the Chiefs don't, I agree with Doug strongly. It won't be the Chiefs winning the AFC West, and if that happens, and if the Bills have home field advantage in the playoffs against, say, if the Chiefs do make the playoffs, I think Josh Allen takes that win right there for the first time in his career against the Chiefs. It'd be amazing to see.
That'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see Josh Allen take out the Chiefs at least once in his career. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to lie. One of my favorite things was seeing Patrick Mahomes' little pouty lips as they got destroyed in the Super Bowl. It's like, dude, you had it coming. Like, you were sitting there. He always trolls Josh Allen, too. And it's like, bro, you've won, but, like, you've gotten a lot of help, too. Like, I remember Mahomes made a joke. He's like, oh, Allen's biggest fear is a coin toss. It's like, dude.
It is a lot. It is a lot of triggering things if you're a Bills fan. The coin toss, the kick go wide right last year.
The spot.
Like, oh my God, what was it? 2020 when they lost? I'm trying to think. What was their first year?
Well, was that the 13-second one where like they went to overtime?
Yeah, they went to overtime, which was so funny. Which is so funny because I believe the Chiefs wanted to change the overtime rule. And I believe the Bills ownership said, no, we're not going to change the overtime rules. And what it behold, that cost them a playoff game.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn, Maybe Bills, maybe we should change the rules. I'm just saying. It still makes me laugh to this day about that. Like, oh, your own rules, not changing the rules, cost you a playoff win.
Shame
on that one. And speaking of, well, Kansas City Chiefs finally. I know you're going to say they're frauds. I know you're going to say they're trash.
They look like frauds. They look like they didn't deserve to be there, Stu.
They did look bad, but I will say, I'm like, what does that make Baltimore like? I don't think it would have been a better game. I think it still would have been a blowout. Baltimore playing, the Bills play.
I don't think so. Like, I truly just think that the Chiefs, I don't think that they were the best team in the AFC this year. Like, and I mean, everybody, you can argue with me very easily, and I will accept those cases, but like, man, oh man, they got just the break speed off them. Down 34-0. Mahomes is pouting. Like, this is what it was so nice to see a team just finally take it to them and like beat them down like they should have been.
Yeah, and like, I will say this: 2 bad calls, but no one remembers that because that was a blowout.
And moving forward, like next year when we do our weekly stock rankings, even if the Chiefs start 5-0, 6-0, they're still not going to be a 9 in my opinion. I will not have them as a 9. I mean, they're looking at their
I don't know.
Look at their statistics. They had the 10th best pass offense, 13th best rush offense, 14th best pass defense, and 10th best pass defense. Like, yeah, sure, the top 10 for a couple of them.
Well,
but they're like top third of the NFL, and that's not championship caliber type.
I mean, and I was talking about the Vikings regressing. Like, this team is obviously the easiest by far to see like a regression. Like, you're not going to win one-score games like this. You're not going to have teams miss kicks and get pass interference calls. And like, this was more realistically an 11-6 caliber team that got everything to bounce their way until the final game of the year. And like that doesn't happen every year.
And I think maybe this is interesting. So I was listening to one of the Strong Opinion Sports about the Super Bowl, and I think of the one YouTube comment. And I thought about like the Chiefs last year versus the Chiefs this year. The Chiefs last year had some ugly losses. They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Broncos. They had a couple losses, but they bounced back from that. This year, the Chiefs never had that ugly loss to recover and like reset. If you think about it.
They had a lot of ugly wins, though, still. They had a lot of ugly wins.
And I don't think they ever had to, like, and I feel like, and I kind of do agree, I don't think they ever had to pay for the mistakes that they had their ugly wins by, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and that's what sucks when you get bailed out so many times and you get so lucky. Like, you almost just expect to be able to do that. Like, that's not how the NFL works. Like, it's a league where I think these things balance out eventually. And, like, you're not going to win 17 straight of those types of games in a row every year. Like, it's just not possible.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I still think the Chiefs are still going to be good next year. It will be interesting because there are rumors Travis Kelce might retire, might not retire this year. We'll see how it goes.
If he would have won the Super Bowl, I could seen him retiring. But I think Kelce wants to try to win one more. If he fails to win one more Super Bowl within the next 2 years, if not this next upcoming season, I think he's going to retire. But if they would have won that three-peat Super Bowl, he would have retired right then and there. But
I probably would have proposed and then retired.
Yeah,
but I will still give him credit. It is still amazing that the Chiefs had gotten super close to almost three-peating. It is
I'll give him that. You know, we have our difficulties.
Well, so Stu, do you remember 2007? Mr. Tom Brady going for his 4th Super Bowl and lost a heartbreaker and then didn't win another one for 10 plus years. That's how this feels to me. Like, this feels like the end of an era.
You thinking they're heading into the 9-year era, and then that 2004 to 2000 where they made it to if I remember correctly, the Patriots made it to 2 Super Bowls, lost both of them to the Giants, ironically. Yeah. Ironically, both of them, I believe, the Patriots were favored to win, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, heavily, I think, in both. And
yeah.
But, I mean, it kind of feels like that. It's like like Mahomes is making so much money. Like, all these dudes are getting older. Like, there's so many young studs that it's kind of hard to envision them staying, like, winning multiple more in a row. It's kind of like, I don't know. I think there's too many other good players for the Chiefs to maintain this dominance.
I mean, I don't think they're going to have a collapse, like a Chiefs collapse, because you still have Mahomes, who's still great.
The Patriots never had a collapse. Like you said, they still made Super Bowls. They were still winning division titles, but they also went 10 years without one.
Yeah, it was 9 years, and then it was the Super Bowl with the Seahawks, and they could have had the Seahawks dynasty, and then one play, instead of giving it to Marshawn Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
Basically let the Patriots win, continue the dynasty of the evil empire.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know. I still feel like there's still like hope. I don't think I'm going to see a collapse. Will they make it to the Super Bowl next year?
No.
2020? No.
Nope.
Gun to your head. What do you think?
No. I mean, if I had to pick a team, I would probably pick the Ravens early on without really seeing what any team does.
I still feel sort of confident, but I don't know. I'm still like a little bit. Granted,
I mean, Burrow and the Bengals are going to be better. Bo Nix is going to be better. The Chargers are going to be better. CJ Stroud's going to be better. You still have Lamar and Josh Allen. It's like you can't keep you won't make 5 Super Bowls in a row. I don't think in this day and age of
I don't
pairing.
think they'll make 5 Super Bowls in a row, but I'm just like,
Well, this
I've
would be
never-
the 5th in a row, though. That's what I'm saying. So then you're saying that they won't make it next year. I mean, if that's what you said. They're not making 5 in a row. You just answered your own question.
All right, fine, but I
AFC,
still think they're going to be
Ravens.
I still think they're going to be like. I don't think they're going to be like frauds or like bad. I still think they're still going to be.
Do you think they're going to make the Super Bowl? Those two.
That's a good question. I got to think about next year. I got to see how next year goes.
All right, think about.
I mean, I think I would bet you very hard right now. Like I don't think there's any. I don't know. I don't see there even really being a good chance of it.
Yes, there's no good chance whatsoever, and indeed. And now I gotta hate my life right now because I'm so depressed and sad. Why do I live in a world where the Eagles have something good and have to stand on poles now and taking out horses now? I don't know how the Eagles fans got horses apparently in Philadelphia. Do you see those videos?
Dude, no, I didn't actually see that.
Yeah, some Eagles fans are riding horses after they won the Super Bowl. It's like, what the?
USA, baby. Stu, is it better or worse that they won so handedly? Is it like worse to see them just look so unbelievable in that game, or is it like better?
It's worse. This is the worst. I would rather have the Chiefs win 10 Super Bowls in a row.
Well, no, we're saying like the Eagles, they won by 18 points. That's a blowout in my opinion. Or would you rather have them win 23-22 with a walk-off field goal by Jake Elliott? Blowout or tight game?
I want a tight game. I mean, granted, I still argue this is probably the worst Super Bowl since the Broncos Seahawks game 11 years ago.
See, I think you guys both think that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I loved it because I just have felt so strongly against the Chiefs for so much of the season that I enjoyed the heck out of it. Like, I thought it was hilarious.
I
loved it. This is your favorite, and for me, this is my worst nightmare. I've been having bad sleep because the Eagles are doing good. I got Eagles fans like trolling me right now. Well, they're not trolling me, but
I doubt that's accurate.
They're saying "Fly, Eagles, fly," and it's like it's too much. I don't want this world, Douglas. This is not
but I mean, I maybe I was over talking with you guys or vice versa, but I picked the Ravens from the AFC if I had to pick a team because I like what Doug said, and I mentioned earlier, not too many people are leaving from the Ravens, but man, from the NFC, I like the Lions. But, man, if it's not the Lions, I like the Eagles as well returning to the Super Bowl. But it's something about the NFC. They don't really have too many back-to-back returners going to the Super Bowl back-to-back years.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The NFC has never had, like, a dynasty of
so I think it might be the Lions' turn.
I mean, the Seahawks only last back-to-back, if I remember correctly. Is that correct for the NFC? That's the last back-to-back, if I can think about it. And that's, like, 11.
I didn't hear what team you said.
The Seattle Seahawks. They went to the Super Bowl, and then they came back, and then Tom Brady, and then – they didn't pass. They didn't give the ball to Marshawn.
Well, yeah, the NFC is interesting though, man. Because I mean, it could be the Commanders. It could be a team like the Vikings or Packers taking a jump. It could be the Lions maybe breaking through. I don't know if there's a clear-cut favorite, but Philly should be dangerous, man. You bring back Saquon and that defensive line, and you'll win some games.
And Jalen Hurts is young. You got a young core, so you got plenty of years. You probably got.
I think the Eagles see improve their passing offense. I mean, they said they're ninth overall, but yeah, sometimes Jalen Hurts wasn't connecting with AJ Brown a few games, and AJ Brown was, visibly mad about it.
Kerr's had an interesting kind of point. I was just curious what you guys think because he told me one of his friends' rankings, and he said that Geno Smith was a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, but. I don't know that I agree with that, but what do you gentlemen think?
That's a trash. No.
Yeah, that's what I said too. But I was like, then he was convinced, and I was like, there's no chance I would trade Jalen Hurts for Geno Smith.
Did Geno Smith ever win a Super Bowl? No.
Yeah,
that was a close one for USA. I mean, with Geno Smith, he never won the Super Bowl, but I think we're just going off the player itself. I still would take Jalen Hurts.
I'll still take Jalen Hurts, and this is coming from a Cowboys hater.
Well, and I like to look at like those clutch moments, and like Jalen Hurts, he kind of has some of that. Like him and Jaden Daniels, like they're both always so calm and poised and ready for the big moments. Like there's certain players you can just tell that like in the biggest stage they're just calm. And Jalen Hurts, they're sitting there up 20 4-0 or something in the Super Bowl, and he's just like, stay locked in type of thing. It's like that Tom Brady energy where it's like, stay focused. We're not going to be a statistic. We're like, Sam Darnold gets sped up and like rushes and makes bad decisions. And like Geno Smith and all those close games at the end, throws interceptions, rushes himself, doesn't make the right read. And it's like, dude, there's something to be said about those clutch moments and those quarterbacks that just are so calm under pressure.
And dialed in, focused.
Dialed in, focused. Now, I guess we should talk about, interestingly enough, gentlemen, the teams that won the Super Bowl in this decade and our final rankings on them. This is be interesting. What would you rank? So you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady. You got the Chiefs.
Wait, we're doing this ranking right now?
Yes, we're doing this ranking right now. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I kind of want to focus and watch on this USA game. So after the Eagles, I was hoping that we'd be done. Otherwise, I might have to skedaddle.
How about I'll do my ranking? So it's like the Buccaneers.
I mean, Doug's more welcome to, but I might zone out for this.
You got.
This USA Canada game is getting way too good.
All right.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'll say honestly, I think the Eagles are probably the first or second best. Like,
are they better than the Rams, the Stafford Rams, when they won that Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think so.
So
you're talking about this decade, so 2020 and like past 5 years.
Yes. So
I think that this was like the most well-rounded team that we've seen in a very long time. Like they had rushing, they had awesome defense, awesome pass defense. They had a good enough passing attack when they needed it. They didn't need it because they had Saquon, but they still had 2 elite receivers. Like there's not a weakness on this team in any capacity. Most teams are like, oh yeah, they're not good at something. Like this Eagles team, they're not great at passing, but they can be good enough.
You have the Chiefs, you have the Eagles, you have the Buccaneers. What other team is there?
I think that's it.
Yeah, Buccaneers, the Chiefs. Yeah, the Buccaneers. You have the Rams. You have the Buccaneers.
Oh, the Rams. Okay, Chiefs, easily
double
the
Chiefs,
Eagles
and then the Eagles. I'd probably still say the Brady Buccaneers is probably the weakest. I hate to say it. I think last year's Chiefs are probably the weakest. That's a good question. And then I probably put Chiefs' first Super Bowl when they came back a couple years ago. I think that one is probably the strongest. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you, Douglas. I think this Eagles team was better than the Rams. I think it was a much more decisive win.
I mean, like I said, like when looking through the season, they were incredibly dominant all season. Like the Lions just had a nice season, so people like the media was focused on that. But breaking down the Eagles, man, they were phenomenal all year.
Yes.
But yeah, heck yeah, 15 minutes to go in this hockey game. It's getting
all right, and that's pretty much it, gentlemen. Do you have any final thoughts on the final season of the NFL season? I know.
Go Ravens, go Lions, and somewhat go Eagles for next season. Eagles, heck of a year.
Yeah.
Boo,
boo, boo.
That's why we're in the green. Go Eagles.
Boo, all of you. But
Stu, we can ship them to Canada. Woo! Ship them to Canada.
Boo you all. But anyway,
USA.
This is our final one when we're done for the NFL season. I think next week we can do it like we did last season. Maybe do some fantasy draft rookies.
Well, that sounds good. We can talk about that one later. Stu, me and Chris are zoning into this hockey game.
All righty. We'll zone it in right there and we'll see. Or maybe we can talk about the game. Oh, what happened?
Yeah, there was a good attempt by USA.
All right.
Like
but
Canadian just pulling off the post.
Yes. But anyway, gentlemen, I will catch you later, Mr. Gator. As always, take care. Bye-bye.